Welcome, everybody, to Manifesting with Meg, Conversations with Extraordinary People. This is episode 136, Hope for Love to be Born Again. This is my 7th season, Live, Laugh, Love, and Play. And today I have special guest, educator, and positive psychologist and teacher, Blenda Batista de Oliveira. So without further ado, I want to welcome Blenda to the stage with me. I have been coming off a weekend of Broadway, so I say all the world's the stage, and today I get to share it with you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Meg, for having me, to opening the stage for me to share a bit of what I know in this journey of positive psychology.
We're always a conversation away from extraordinary, and it's always time to wake up to the universe packed with possibility. I would love to introduce Blenda to all of you today. She's an adjunct professor at Centenary University and Masters of Arts and Happiness Studies. She's currently pursuing her own doctorate in human ecology and positive psychology at Universidade Nova de Lisboa. She holds a master's degree herself in educational sciences from the State University of New York, is a specialist in innovation and education technologies and distance learning. She's a specialist in positive psychology with former Harvard professor Tal Ben-Shahar, and a licensed educator with over 14 years of international experience. She had the pleasure of working and training educators in, get this, England, Israel, Germany, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Guatemala, Peru, Chile, Brazil, and so many more places. You are just well accomplished beyond your years. It's amazing to know how old you are, because I literally see you thinking, wow, she should be a sage up on the the mountains, teaching to all. I want to mention that you were honored as the best interdisciplinary project at EUTOPIA Summer Doctoral School of 2023. It's a European alliance of universities. And also, you're the co-founder of the Happiness Revolution, an innovative company that social well-being, quality of life, and practices that generate higher levels of happiness. I mean, there's so much more we're going to get to know about you during the interview. But wow, I like I said, it's such a pleasure to have you today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Meg.
It's so great to have you on our show. I love today's theme. Like I said, it's hope for love to be born again. And the quote we use today is, a very small degree of hope is sufficient to cause the birth of love. And that's Stendhal, born Marie-Honorée Belle. She's a 19th century French writer. And the passage that really pulls me in and stands out to me today, and I want to, it's all about releasing the beauty that is you into the world. And we don't have control of what happens once it's out there, but just the knowledge that we had to share it in the first place, because that's why we're here, to be a part of this world, interconnected as we would all like to be, but sharing those strengths and those beautiful things about us with the world. So I want to turn it back to you and bring hope through you to a world where your something magical can light it up, certainly, and can be a part of that rebirth of love. Blenda, tell me what your thoughts are on this today.
Yes, well, earlier when I was reading the passage, I thought, wow, Meg, this is so profound, so inspiring. I really appreciate it, that you shared with me, and that you're sharing your gifts with the planet, right? Because it's so, wow, I was mesmerized, and I just, kept thinking about, like, you could unpack so much from the passage, right? And I would like to point on, like, one thing that's so important for us in positive psychology, which is hope. And I think part of the work you do, right, you told me several times that is like to bring hope to people, to help them see it. Because sometimes we can be in that place that we don't see it anymore, don't have it, anymore. But yes, and when we are releasing to the world our something, as you said, right, it's so cute. We can only hope that the programming we added, right, will work, and that our something will do great, right, and it will do good to the planet. So it's also part of the values that we have, that we transmit to the next generation. So
I agree with you. And the fact that you're an educator, you're in education. I want to share this with everybody so they can see what kind of activities or action of happiness like you're doing in the world, starting with the well-being program for schools. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your journey and tell us how you've gotten to this point where this is what your focus is on, bringing that whole element of hope and to your something wonderful with the students of today.
Yes. So yeah, it also connects to the quote that we are going to discuss after, right? Is all about education, right? After you analyze carefully how you could impact positively the world, then at least I came to the conclusion that it would be through education. Mm-hmm. Right? Whether it is within organizations or schools, you pick. But my focus is in those two realms. So it's really now, I developed this program, and it's something that we need really to implement now in schools because it's part of the UN's new guidelines for education. We must have healthy and happy schools, as they say, right? Places in which kids will flourish. They are our seeds of tomorrow. Beautiful seeds with full potential, just ready to, flourish into their, most beautiful versions. But we need to offer them the right place, like the right environment. And that does not mean a very fancy school with like colorful toys. Does that help? It does, right? But it doesn't need to be just like that. It's more about the love. Is attention. It is like asking deep questions to our youth, right? Are they like, what are their dreams? What are their mission in life? Do they have one? Right? What do they want to achieve? Right? Asking all those questions so they get a sense of themselves. They build their self-esteem, their confidence, and then they can, like live happy and fulfilling lives. This is the best gift, I think, at least, right? My humble opinion, the best gift we can give them so they can trust themselves and do the best they can.
So tell me something about that in conjunction with the happiness revolution that you are the co-founder of.
We need to understand that transformation cannot come, ex machina, as we say, right? It's like it won't come and, like they will colonize us and we're going to be, back to health and happiness again. It just simply doesn't work like that. We have to teach people how to create healthy and happy habits, right? As we talk a lot about this in our masters, right? So, and what I noticed, Meg, in these years of work is that when we come to educate already, like in organizations, we encounter some resistance. Like it's there, right? And it's a bit difficult to gain traction and talk to everyone, convince. I find myself convincing, trying to convince much more than educating. Right. So then I figured that if we do this steps earlier, right, a few steps earlier, like whether it is in early education or even at a crucial age for us, which is the teenage years, right, then you would be more successful. In the sense that kids are much more open to begin with, right? And they are at this stage in life that they are just building the new habits that they will have for the rest of their lives. So if we manage to educate them at that point, saying, okay, you need to sleep well, you need to exercise, you need to eat well, all this, right? It would be easier. So it's already programmed into them and they can carry on. Right. So,
well, I want to play off of that. Not only do you teach and you're getting your doctorate in education for children, you're also a professor, assistant professor for the Happiness Studies program, which is in its second cohort right now. It's new to the world. It's so amazing to think that this is a whole world of study that people can just bask in. Tell me a little bit about how you found yourself in this world.
First of all, we learn from each other. I learned tons from our colleagues. We call you all as fellow journeyers, right? So I really come from this approach that everyone is a master. So for sure. Yes. So my trajectory was like, I started as a teacher, right? But then I always worked internationally. After my graduation, I went straight to Israel, and I was working there as sales manager there for the whole Latin America. So it was a very different field because it was educational technology startup, right, which was wonderful, like thrilling to work with, and I loved it. So then I got back to Brazil a few years later, and then became my career in like literally teaching technology, entrepreneurship. I loved it too. Everything related to education, I'm in, right? And then when I was 28, I achieved everything I wanted, and I had a checklist as every person has. So then I was like, okay, I got it all, and not in any how to say. I mean this in a very humble way. Like, I had the list, did it, and then I'm like, okay, I do not feel happy. And it hurted so much because we were taught that if we were achieving all those things, we would be happy. And when I talk about it, I see so many people that resonate with that, especially young people, Meg. And that's why I want to share this specific part that I know, like the new generations who are achieving everything they want and they're still not happy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the right habits in place. I was working, it was normal for me to work 13, 14 hours a day, and no wonder things were getting achieved, right? But at what cost?
That's so
and when I share this with the younger generation now, I say, do not do this. You have a health, like right now in your life, in your early 20s. Believe me, you use it all. If you go with this Ferrari at 180 every day, it will break. So your Ferrari needs brakes.
Your Ferrari needs a brake. I love it. Yeah, it's so true. But I think the wisdom that comes from your experience, you share to others, because it's true. Health is certainly wealth. And like we were talking, happiness is the ultimate currency. We're all striving for these goals. Sure, that's wonderful, because you never know who you're going to meet along the way, what connections you're going to make along the way. At the other end, you burn yourself out, you're not going to enjoy anything at all. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that you're putting these out to at least at a younger age. The things that you wish that you had known, that you share with those who might need to hear it now. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. Yes. And like working for startups, it's amazing. It's like thrilling. Every day there is something new, and you are young, you can work many hours. Meg, like during the trips, I was working 16 hours a day. It was that insane. And since you have youth, and you can do that, you keep doing, and then eventually you're going to burn out, and it does not look good.
No.
Right? So we all know that. For sure. So then I was like looking at I was at the top of my career, and I'm like, okay, what should I do now? And then I saw that Tal had the certificate. Professor Tal had the certificate. He had exited Harvard, and now he had the certificate. I'm like, I have been waiting for this forever. I didn't get into Harvard, but I'll get the content, like, so I signed up for the course. And this is also important, like, because I was thrilled because I knew I would now change my career. I was at the top. And then I'm like, okay, if I change completely now, what does it look like? How does this, gonna play in the next few years? I'll have to change jobs, have to change everything.
Yeah.
It means I have to rebirth, right? Like to do everything from beginning.
Yeah.
And that decision came with a lot of anxiety. I had to meditate a lot, and I also cried. Like, I'm changing, I'm leaving everything I am, and I want to share that because I had to leave everything who I was now in order to become who I actually want to be, right? So I did make the payment, and then embarked in this journey. It was 5 years ago, and
Wow.
I was counting yesterday, like the best decisions, I don't know if you have like the top 5 best decisions of your life.
Yeah.
This was one.
Wow. That's
Doing Professor Tal's certificate, it is on my top 5 decisions of my entire life.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing. And your life will be, and you have so much life ahead of you too now, that to live it out and see the fruits of that decision come to life and not only impact your life. I say that when we heal the broken parts, then we can shine a light on others to help them heal as well. And I think that's amazing that there's no telling what you're going to do in the world today. There's no telling. The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And with that,
Yeah.
because,
and it's going to be good.
and it's going to be something beyond wonderful as well. When I said yes to what I wanted and no longer to those things that were burning me out, everything changes. You say yes to life. And this is where I get to benefit the most from my guests, because everybody gets inspired by different things. Everybody comes alive to different things. But when we share those things with each other, then we can expand our tool base that can help us even go farther. So when I ask for your wonderful inspirations, I get these great quotes. And the first, we start with Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So what are your thoughts on this? Please share.
Yes. And also I wanted to say hi to Ceci. Yes.
She's saying it's like we run out of our old version. That's it. We run out of our old version and into the new. And
absolutely.
that's so exciting. It's so exciting.
Yes. And yeah, you picked the greatest one, right? Mandela. What a master, right? And I just wanted to if I could change anything, right, it would be changing that education is the most powerful tool.
Oh, yes.
Right, than a weapon.
Yeah.
I do understand the context and why that word came into play, right? But I believe that everything we have, it's a tool, right? And you can use accordingly, right? They are only expressions of our mind, expressions of our hearts.
Yeah.
So you can use a great tool to devise and cause discussions, chaos in a country, or you can use this to unite and have people collaborating. So it's really a reflection on, okay, this is only a tool. How do we make the best use of that?
I love
that, right?
And also, what you do to inspire people through education, the fact of the matter is I love the word educare. It's the Latin for lead us to the next level in our lives, out of, like Sachi was saying, the old version, leading us into something new. And I love how you point out uniting us there. Like uniting us there, because we all are together in this world, right? We have to live together and thrive together. Flourish is the word you use. So this is a beautiful beginning of your inspirations. How do you use this to keep you going when you feel maybe that the world is a little overwhelming, perhaps?
That's a good point. Yes, I'll share here a bit of a fact. I don't really watch the news, Meg, because I get profoundly impacted by them. We in our masters we learn that everything we put inside our bodies needs to be curated, right?
Yes.
Food, thoughts, friends,
Yes.
and use.
Yes.
So I am aware of the major issues, right? And then that's why my counterattack is education.
Right.
So whether it is through like lectures, whether it's through full programs, or the research I'm doing now for the doctorate, these are the ways I'm finding to combat what we are currently seeing, right? And then trying to change the course of humanity is the only thing we can do right now. So
it's beautiful. And that's beautiful. And he's also pointing out that when our old version expires and we choose to stay, we rot. Inspiration serves to push us through. But it's true. And I think that what you just said is so beautiful. Like, curate the things that will give us life rather than deplete us, which is very, very important and powerful, which takes us to our next wonderful quote. I love it, Blenda. This is you this time. It takes a healthy and happy village to raise healthy and happy children. Blenda Batista, tell us, what do you mean by it?
Yes. So, Meg, this is the quote that I'm starting. Like when I go to schools to start the meeting and I present the how to say, the proposal.
Oh, I love
This
it.
is the quote that I had there, because at schools we always say, it takes a village to raise a child. It's our language, is that what we speak about. And it doesn't take a village, it takes more. It's so much more, to raise a child. But then we are missing one point, because it's not okay, I need, let's say, 15 people to raise this child completely. We need 15 healthy people, we need 15 fulfilled people.
Beautiful.
15 people focused on their purpose, acting on their values.
Yeah.
It's more than just having people there.
Yeah.
We have to have the committed ones, the right ones.
That's beautiful.
Right? So it's really what moves me, as you're asking, like what inspires me and moves me. I want to see all of us thriving. And to see all of us thriving, we need to have the right environment and the right people.
So
meaning that more people should know about the science of happiness that we both study, right? And that so when I enter schools, I come to them and say, look, we need to train the admins, we need to train the teachers, we need to train the staff and the parents, because they are the ones who are going to water our seeds. They are the ones who are going to make our children flourish.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right? It's in their hands. It's not only the playground, they need attention, care. So it's really helping educate the whole community, and then our kids will be a product of that. That's simple.
The fact that you're shining a light on everyone else surrounding the children is so important, because and how they need to start asking, or we all need to start asking the question, what fills us? What gives us life? Because at the same time, we can't have depleted people in charge of, watering plant. Like, you can't have dead plants watering the new seeds, because they need to feel like, they need to take care of their leaves and their flowers. And I know that's a metaphor I'm playing off of yours, but the reality is that we forget that everybody is important here, and everybody needs to figure out what fills them up so that they can pour from the overflow rather than from the depletion, which I think in many ways we forget. And I think that that's what you do in the happiness studies program, to teach us that, start with good tools and good habits, that will give you the opportunity to be a successful person. And I think going back to like those lessons from the humanities that have gone to the wayside, unfortunately, but need to be put back into the center of the conversation again, that we all, as individuals, as Emerson says, or interconnected as Wheatley said, all these wonderful ideas, but that does play a part, because when we, even as parents and even educators, they're watching us. they're watching they're modeling after us. And it's such a responsibility, not only to ourselves, but to others that we come into contact with, which this is fantastic. And then, of course, the last one, the first, wealth is health. And I said this before, but I think, that's probably, you planted the seeds in my mind. But it's true. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the first, wealth is health. Tell me your thoughts on this.
Yes. And this is the basic premise for me in terms of health and happiness, because the minute you lose, your health, let's say, you're not experiencing health anymore.
Yeah.
Meg, it's a mess. Then you can't really bring your best self to your relationship. You can't really work. You cannot, cook for yourself, and like the list goes on. Everything gets impaired by that. So it's the basic premise that needs to be in place, right? In order for you to experience more health and happiness. So, and here the one also a very important thing is that we usually think that health is only physical health.
Right.
So, okay, I need to be physically healthy for that. But there are so many other aspects that we don't see, but because we don't see doesn't mean they don't exist or they don't have a say in this.
Yeah.
So here I account for, of course, physical health, emotional health, mental health, financial health, is spiritual health.
Yeah.
Right. And then relational and intellectual health too. They all play their roles. They are equally important. If you do not have one, then you do have you're gonna experience some trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really cultivating this balance in your life that we call health.
And you know what you said, and also going back to the whole idea of this whole being wellness concept, you can't cut you can't bifurcate your life, because I always used to believe, you show up professionally as you show up personally. You can't be two different persons. It'll catch up with you. So with that in mind, like you said at the outset, authenticity and what that is to you is first and foremost the thing that will have you experiencing this once around more magically, let's say, or more fully, or fill you up. And I love that you're pointing this out, because a lot of people, see wealth in a different terms. I got to work the 15 to 16 hours and I got to do it. And maybe the lesson is that you learned that, okay, it fed my soul a little bit at the beginning, but now I'm realizing other parts of my life have fallen off. I really love this, and I'm going to leave it up here a little longer, because I think everyone needs to remember that health is paramount, and that is all the different aspects that you've just mentioned today. I want to go back to other profound lessons that we might have learned on this journey. And since you're an educator, certainly the audience you serve, which I believe is service, certainly resounds well with you. Your wonderful energy, or as Ceci's saying, the frequency that you emit is really safe. And I say this with all the respect in the world. I think we learn in safety, right? When we're like warriors of the world, we can't focus on one thing, but when that energy comes to us, that there's a giving there, it's easier to receive well. So back to where you are today, and I love that you said the top 5 are the happiness studies, but what other profound lessons have gotten you here?
Wow, Meg, I love it, because I'm a big fan of deep conversations, and I'm so glad we are having one. Really. So yes, deep lessons for sure. I remember 2017, I had, a tough breakup, and it was really, really sad. And I wanted that relationship, but at the same time, there was something, like just not working. And then I realized that sometimes what we want is not what we need.
Wow.
Yes, tough. It came after a lot of meditation,
Yeah.
many hours of meditation. And so nowadays, when I really want something, I ask myself, like, okay, is this something I really need? Is something that will elevate my spirit, right? Will help me grow? Will I learn? Will I be a better person? Or is this just ego,
Oh, so proud. That's
right?
so
And I've been in this quest. Yes.
wow.
So, and then, I sit there and have tea, like, is there you, ego, again, just like creeping in?
Yeah.
Or it's something that will actually do good to the planet? And then whenever the answer is do good to the planet, I just move forward and I never look back. But if it's ego, then I'm like, okay, then it doesn't really make sense. It has to be something that is good for all of us, man.
Yeah.
We do not need what we currently have, and like, only getting things for oneself, it cannot happen anymore. It has to be for a greater good.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm more connected.
So sometimes what we want is not what we need, and separating out the ego. And I love that you're being so vulnerable with that, because at the same time, I think in many, we're all human beings. We're all experiencing this human condition, right? We're in this world, and walking it, right? Fellow journeyers that we are, just discovering, those things that come up to either teach us, right? So that we can like go back to what I said, what you were saying before, the tools that we've gained, and actually having that, reflection as to, is this something that is just to like my ego, or is this something that's good for the whole? What is it that you do on a daily basis that moves this, life of yours forward in a way that can be a part of the bigger good in the world?
Yes. So this is such a beautiful question, first of all. Yes. I'm really connected to my purpose, and I live it every single day, and I love it how it can express itself in many ways. And I see the connections. So being a professor, being with you there, and at the program, I mean,
Yes.
and by doing the consultancy now with the schools, creating the program, I'm every day super connected to the purpose, and that doesn't like push it, like it just moves me so fast and happily, right, to the next goal and the next goal. So I think purpose is something that is really like moving me forward, as it should be for like most of us, right? It's something that makes us like wake up and just have that coffee and start typing the day away.
Oh,
Right.
Wonderful.
So
I love that you mentioned purpose. And I know that sounds kind of like, maybe too pie in the sky for some people, but I think it's so essential to it's like those things that we have in our backpack that we show up with. And I think for me, life purpose really is the thing that you start from. It's the foundational, knowing that, and then coming from that place, and seeing where life takes you. It's very intentional. So talking about purpose today, we show up together, and I asked you to set your intention and then pick a number in the Magical Guide to Bliss. Certainly my purpose with this book was always to give it as an offering to others, to perhaps, use this as a tool to lighten their day a little bit more, or maybe offer that bit of hope. So tell us, what was your intention today, and what page number in the book did you match it with?
yes. So my intention for today was to have an authentic and profound conversation with you, which we did have, and no filters.
No filter.
And to put my knowledge at the service of your audience, and also to have a wonderful talk. So, a wonderful conversation with you. So I really appreciate that we had this safe space to
Yes.
share. Right. And Meg, I love the book. I was not expecting that I would be gifted a wonderful book, alongside. But I loved it, and yes, it brings exactly what you just said. Now you can get from the book. Like I felt this. I felt inspired. I felt motivated. I felt it's Meg is very. I don't know how to put. Like sometimes you're so like impressed that you can't put into
Oh, wow.
words. But it was so profound. Like it's bliss. It's bliss. Like what you have is a gift. And I really appreciate you giving, like the book away to all of us. And the page I chose was, if I'm not mistaken, page number 5 is January 2nd.
Yes.
Which was wonderful. I mean, like I'm now in the energy of like creating the other program, for schools, and it was just perfect for me. I couldn't be more blessed with that,
So if I may, so that page number, the intention of the day for that particular page is make your masterpiece glorious. And I love the fact that is what you're doing in this world, is making your masterpiece, the masterpiece that is Blenda, more glorious, because it's a great word for you, by the way, anyway. And it's kind of important for like maybe where other people are, because the quote is, we can be tired, weary, and emotionally distraught, but after spending a time alone with God, or whatever meditation you want to, we find that he injects into our bodies energy, power, and strength. And I think that goes back to what you were saying about meditation, taking that quiet time and how important that is for whole being wellness, that you look within yourself, and then you can be able to, like I said, we were talking about pour from an overflowing cup. And back to your point, my God, I can't imagine a more authentic person than you, Blenda. You really do show up with the intention, like I said before, to be of service of others, which is really important, because you're teaching children, and they get past the BS monitor very quick. Like they don't let you play. They see past you. They see past the veils or the masks we put on and everything. You cannot get away with anything at all, for sure. What are the takeaways that you want people to take away after meeting you? Of when you show up with your light in the world, how do you want to leave others?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I always remember seeing this quote, which was, when you enter a room, always strive to leave it a bit better than when you entered, right? So
it's beautiful.
I'm striving to leave this big room of ours, our sweet blue pearl.
Yeah. Beautiful.
If I can do like just a bit to live it better, if it's whether through education, through kids, just Meg, now I'm doing this consultancy for a school and creating their curriculum for happiness. It's a wonderful work, and sometimes I'm here just typing in the middle of the afternoon, and I catch myself having this pure blissful moment, and I even like get emotional about it, because the work I'm typing right now, is going to impact so many lives, and these kids will get to live that hopefully better lives, like less anxiety, or like more fulfilling lives, finding their purpose, and finding a beautiful relationship, a beautiful partner, and being happy. This is my vibe. This is, what we say in Portuguese, this is my beach, is my cup of tea, right?
So say that again. This is your what? Your beach? Your beach?
This is the beach. Yes, because in Brazil we have so many beaches, and we say, okay, this is my cup of tea, this is my beach,
That's awesome. So, awesome. I love that you said that. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
So this is really what I would like to leave here as, we can always leave a place just a bit better. It doesn't need to be, oh my God, it was, upside down. No, just a bit better. And that could be like just a smile you share with someone, just a little, like thank note that you share, or a little bonbon that you buy for a friend,
I love it.
or simple things.
So if you guys all want to experience the light of Blenda, where can we contact you? Where can we find you, Blenda, in this world?
Thank you. Yes, the social media, or the thing that I use the most is LinkedIn. So it would be, my LinkedIn is Blenda Batista, and there, I would be happy to connect and share anything you would like to know more about the science of happiness or anything else.
And I just want to spell it for those in the podcast world. It's BlendaBatista. So go find her on LinkedIn. She is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of this energy of love that's out there, and certainly happiness. You are on this journey creating the rest of your masterpiece. What inspiration will you have to share with all of us today?
Mm-hmm. Meg, after these years of studying happiness, right? So it's been almost 6 years now. I came to the understanding that there is no individual happiness per se, right? We do understand, we do have the model that we work with, right? The framework, and we are able to experience higher levels of well-being with that. But if things around us are not going so well, it makes it difficult for us to experience fully, happiness. So part of the work I do, and the work I know you do, and Professor Tal does, is try to create the environment, see those smiles, so see each other being successful, thriving. Like, I know when you see your daughter, right, presenting and thriving, you get thrilled. They're like, oh my God, you're experiencing happiness for her, and you're proud of her. So I think that's the bit that like really moves me, and I would like to leave as an inspiration, that in order for us to experience happiness, all of others around us need to do it too.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
So it's a systemic approach. It goes beyond us, and in my case, how I see this is, it goes beyond only us. It is transcendental. It's transgenerational.
Oh, I love it.
I want the next generation to experience too, right? Because we're helping them. Otherwise, it's a bit more difficult for them.
We're in this together. So the experience of, happiness on a more external as well as internal plane is important for the world as a whole. I'm so sad we're coming to the end, because I think this has been so wonderful, and you are wonderful. And in my season of live, laugh, love, and play, I do love the fact that it's been a tough year, I have to admit, but I've been trying to come to the world as a little bit more playful. So with that, how do you see the play aspect of life?
Lovely. Yes. Wow. Meg, sometimes I have to hold myself back, because one of the reasons I used to love, like to be with kids in schools, is because my soul is also a young kid, is young Blenda there. And then with kids, we would play, just, tell jokes and laugh. And I loved it. I do miss this, right? So whenever I have a chance to just be goofy and make jokes that nobody laughs at, like I do it, because it's about, having fun along the way. So
that's amazing. I love the fact that, and as we all enter the next chapter of our lives, or whatever journey we're taking today, tomorrow, or the next. I love the point that you sit down and you get with your childlike self, and you can actually engage and in the play. Send us out with a final word of maybe hope and inspiration.
We need to take things a bit more in a playful way, right? And like, let's take it easy, so reading this research on couples, right? They found out that couples, whenever they were arguing, if one of the partners would just throw a joke,
Oh,
they both would laugh.
yeah.
And whether it was a bad joke or not, it was just like out of the blue, you're like, oh, did you just say that? And then they started laughing. And then the tension got a bit, like down.
That's awesome.
And then they could, okay, just have a laugh. And then, okay, let's go back to the topic, but with another perspective, right?
For this wonderful conversation today. Time to manifest fully, live intently, love, laugh more, keep your jokes close at hand, and yes, find many ways to play. Get ready to dazzle. I really believe in all of you. Thank you so much, Blenda, for this privilege of having you in this space today. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Wow, it was so wonderful. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I loved it.